Thanks, Joshna. Kia ora, everybody. We're going to start out with morena to our public forum this morning. We're going to start with karakia, kai noi tātou, e te atua, tēnei mātou, tuiti, tūtonu mai, tēnei hoki tā mātou ora, tuiti tū, tonu mai, haumi e, hui e, tāki e. Kia ora, everybody. Thank you for your attendance to our public forum this morning. Welcome to our members and our FNDC staff to our meeting of the 14th of December 2022. We have a full public forum this morning and we've got some people ready to have a kōrero with us. Just reminding you all that you have a maximum of 5 minutes to talk to us. Following the public forum, we'll hear from our funding application representatives that are here today to talk about their funding applications. So we'll start this morning by welcoming Wally Hicks and Anne-Marie Hung Lee. Kia ora kōrua. You have 5 minutes to share. And just a reminder, you don't have to use that entire 5 minutes if you don't wish to. Kapua.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Wally and I are like the point of the pyramid, because standing here with me today is Senior Taimanga Whenua, Whaia Pani Hauraki and Whaia Rachel Witana, and about 50 others whose privacy we are protecting. And we are speaking to RFS 413-8148, which is about the Kaikohe Town Hall. Our town hall was built in 1905, and they're public meeting places. They're places to hear news, discuss, stay informed, build relationships, promote and enhance the quality of life in a community. In other words, they're the beating heart of a community, but not in our case, not in Kaikohe. Our community is struggling to reunite after the ravages of COVID and the closure of our hall based on the wishes and feelings of a rogue town hall committee. And those are the words that are on one of your own documents, which we will provide to you later, is crushing what's left of our Māori order. The people standing beside me, I urge you to act on the RFS 413-8148. I implore you to act on it, because we the people do not want the premature closure of our town hall. We don't want it to be prematurely resigned to history, and it's within your power to act on the RFS and compel an extraordinary meeting.
Kia ora. Kia ora. Kia ora tātou katoa, ko Wally Hicks aho. So I am addressing RFS number 413-8148, which I placed with Whanau District Council on the 7th, last Wednesday the 7th. I have emailed, because certain documents couldn't be attached to the RFS, you will have all received an email containing the other ones, just the email screen, and I have copies for you to table for afterwards. I think, not to mince words, what we're asking for is for Community Board to compel the Kaikohe Town Hall Committee to meet before Christmas, and for the Community Board and or Council to facilitate that meeting in order for the community to be heard in the widest possible sense of that word community. And in our case, my case, with reference to option 2 on the document Town Hall Committee meeting notes 4th of October, which is get the hall cleaned, close off the kitchen, and fix the toilets, and make it available for public use. And that's what we want to happen. And we're being told that that can't happen until at least April next year, with an AGM in February. The matter of the town hall is also referred to in our Te Rahana Vision Kaikohe community plan, Rautaki Hapori Community Plan as being, if you will, an essential piece of life-serving infrastructure. That's all I have to say. I have these documents to table. Shall I do that now?
Thank you. Yes. I'll let them take those for us. Wally.
Very welcome to hear questions.
Kia ora, Wally and Anne-Marie. Do any community board members have questions?
So when was the last AGM? When was the last AGM?
It was in 2019.
Okay, and is there a written set of rules around the committee?
Yes, there is. There's the council's pause policy, which although it's under.
Well, no, I'm more thinking that are there a set of committee rules specifically in the committee?
Not that I know of.
And the community doesn't want the current. I mean, because you voted the current people in, right?
So
you do vote the current committee in.
A number of people in the community voted the current committee in 2018, yes, and re-elected them in 2019.
So does that election not give them a mandate to run that board how they see fit?
Well, we believe that a significant enough number of people in the community no longer have faith in that committee. As they are functioning at the moment, we would like to help them ideally to get the town all over, but they appear to us, and there are email streams to support this, which you've been provided with, they appear to be very resistant to the idea of opening the town hall for public use, which is what they're charged with in the hall's policy.
Okay, but of course on February you can vote them out. In February you can vote them out, right?
Sorry?
In February you can vote them out?
In February, theoretically, they could be voted out, yes.
I speak to that in the council policy. They are required, all hall committees are required to have an AGM every year.
Yeah.
So they didn't, right?
They haven't for 3 years.
But don't they have minutes for that?
No. We got OIA documents that show.
Now, the reason I asked about the rules is that, I mean, an AGM is by its very nature general, and all those that are affected should be able to turn up. So all those that are voting for the committee should be able to be turned up for the AGM and should by as of right have an AGM. So yeah. I mean, I can't understand why the people themselves just don't notify that there's going to be an AGM to because we're out of time, right? I mean, you're 4 years out of time.
Yeah.
So at any stage in those 4 years, barring COVID, you could have had an AGM with or without permission of the current committee. I mean, they are only your representatives. They are not your rulers.
Okay. I think I would have to say that I think that what we are dealing with here is a quite significant unhealthy culture which has developed, and it has apparently, according to the town hall committee, even impacted on the staff who can deal with them from Farmers District Council. That is all of this is in the documents that have been provided to you, attached to RFS 4138.
We haven't been offered those, so this is the first I've seen of it.
Second?
This is the first I've seen of it, so I'm unfamiliar with the history.
Right, okay. Yeah, all right, but so I placed an RFS and then I emailed each person, each of you individually.
Yeah, I forward that RFS on to everybody. Just.
I haven't received your email.
Thank you, Charlie and Anne-Marie. We've got about 30 seconds left.
One quick question from me, Chair. Wally, so just clarity, and maybe it's, if you don't want to answer this, that's fine. I just want some clarity in terms about what the issue here. It could be one of two things. One is that the board committee is, for whatever reason, not wanting it to be made open publicly, or it could be the pressure is coming from council, or health and safety reasons, or whatever it is. and therefore they feel obliged to not open it. So I'm not sure where it lies. Do you know where that issue problem lies? Maybe it's in both.
Sorry.
Where the, oh sorry, I might speak up. So I'm not sure what the real issue is. Either the hall committee, for whatever reason, doesn't want to open it, or maybe it's from council putting pressure on them and saying it's not health, it's not, there's a health and safety issue here, you can't open it, and then they feel obliged to keep it closed. Do you know what the real case is?
Well, what we have to go on about that are these Kaikohe Town Hall meeting notes with draft on them in watermark draft, which in a pānui that the Town Hall Committee put out, they claimed that this was communication from council to them, and we find it quite a confusing document, in that it says that they will be provided with.
So that sort of answers that. So
yeah.
Therefore, it's up to us to go and get from council exactly what the communication was and what the issue is.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Busich. Thank you.
Through the chair, I'm aware that Mr. Hicks has asked for the names of the people listed on page 2 to be redacted to protect their privacy before this document is made
not to be
public.
made public at this stage, please.
Okay. Thank you, thank you, Charlie and Marie. We next have Angela Lush to talk to us about another RFS 413 8897. 4138897. Thanks, Angela.
Good morning to all of you. I'm Angela Lush from Kaikohe-Hokianga, and my RFS 4138897 is lodged in support of the RFS that these guys have spoken to, but may answer a few more questions around John Like's issues. My key concern is that Kaikohe Town Hall was closed by the committee in February 2021. For reasons that they say in communication, that they felt if the town hall was open and in use, then council would not bother about the renovation work and they would push it further down the food chain, for want of a better term. So it was a feeling, and that's represented and recorded in some of the council documents, and we will provide you with a hard copy of the OIA request documents. So the committee closed the hall. They've had no AGMs, as you've said, since 2019. And council has only closed the hall as a result of the meeting held on the 4th of October this year, when council staff agreed that the hall was dirty and needs cleaning and can't be opened. But in that intervening period, it hasn't been council that's closed the hall, it's been the committee. Now, my key concern is that the hall's not open, we're not able to use it. We've had a number of events, for example, the Harris Cup, which would normally have used the hall historically, a really major tangi for a very prominent person in the community. We squeezed into the bowling club and everyone stood in the rain. And the candidates meeting, which some of you were present at, and half the group had to stand outside and was not able to hear the speakers. The Hall Committee issued a pānui to the community. They've only issued 4 pieces of communication to the community in the last 40 months, okay? And in November 22, they sent a town hall update with redacted minutes from the FNBC meeting, staff meeting with them. And they ended up with, should anyone wish to know more detail, feel free to contact me by phone or email or any other means. This is from the chair. The pānui sent on 22nd November has generated considerable discussion in our community. I, myself, and a number of other people who have indeed raised questions and asked for more information have been shut down, attacked and accused of harassment by the chair and the secretary. Currently, the operation of the Kaikohe Town Hall does not meet Council's Hall's policy and has not met it for more than 2 years or around 2 years, which is supposed to be a fit-for-purpose, affordable community facility that connect and support resilient, healthy and vibrant communities. On several days ago, I was visited at my home by a member of the police because the town hall chair and possibly the secretary, they are partners and they live next door to the town hall, had made a complaint. At the moment it's verbal, I don't have a report number, file number, of harassment about me, about Wally and Anne-Marie and a number of other people, because I asked some questions.
You have 1 minute.
Okay, and my questions are, I've got them here and they're on my I will submit them to you. When will the town hall be open? How long are the works going to take? What is the project going to cost? How is it going to be paid for? Will it impact our rates? Questions of that nature, toned in a civil and constructive manner. Now, we have a serious issue, which is the reason we are asking for you guys to intervene and arrange a meeting. Because right now, it is not possible for me to speak to the committee without facilitation. And it's really important that our community has the use of the hall. So there's a multiple of reasons that you all know what halls do. Clubs and societies in the school wants to use the hall. They used to use the hall for their school hall. Indoor sports, dancing, games, Christmas lunch.
We'll need to wrap up, Angela.
Yep. Please. So please, would you step forward and help Kaikohe get use of our hall until such time as programme released by council take place?
Kia ora. Thanks, Angela. Do any members have any questions for Angela? No.
I know you said before Christmas.
Yep.
But is there any reason this just can't wait till February to the AGM?
Well, I have little confidence that there will be a February AGM because no date has been set.
Well, as I said to Wally, I mean, you guys are the community. They are servants. So I mean, someone just put an ad in the paper saying we're having an AGM to elect the City Hall Committee and take that upon you as members of the community to do that. I mean, an AGM is all about change of the guards. Okay, I mean, in between AGM, you have chosen those people to be your representatives to manage that hall. At the AGM, it is the General Assembly, so to speak, that is in charge. So if you wish to have a community, if you wish to have an AGM with or without their cooperation, then have one. And I mean, you can speak to us individually, and I can speak offline here. But I'm sure that if there's ample justification for doing so, you'll have our support for the result.
Thank you. And you know, my response around the lack of confidence of there being one held, I will just preface that it's not just an opinion. In the OAA documents, which have got a lot of correspondence between the council and the committee, there's a number of times it said, oh, we're going to have an AGM soon, we're going to have an AGM soon, and that's 2020, 21, 22, okay? So there's a pattern, oh, we're going to have an AGM soon.
Thanks,
Yep.
Angela. I suggest that you either speak to Mike
Yeah,
out of the meeting time.
Just clarify what I said with the person who's in charge of halls of the staff, saying if we have an AGM, it's done, and if you need to bring me on, bring me on.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Kia ora to everybody.
Thank you very much.
Our next speaker from Public Forum is Mr. Riley. Matua Sean. Thank you, Mr. Riley. You've got 5 minutes.
When you look around the table, And a new look means a new beginning and a fresh start. Things will be done, things will be achieved. I have two issues. One is water and one streets. Some time ago, I made reference at this forum about the non-performance of a contract in Thorpe Road. As you go over the railway line, next time you go to the way station, see that block of grass there sitting in front of you. That is part of the contract. It hasn't been mown for a long, long time. I've taken the matter up with the CEO. Nothing's happened. I look to you to see that this contract is performed as per its demand in the contract itself. Street tidiness is absolutely paramount. You go around the streets and you see litter and it's not good enough. This sort of thing doesn't happen in Kerikeri, so why the devil should it happen here? Can't accept it. The water issue is something that everybody has something to go about. That letter came through the mail. You're no doubt well aware of its content, and I am opposed, and you should be. Think about it, at the very least, no district-wide uniformity. We have paid for our water and sewerage. We accepted Kerikeri sewage into our oxidation pond, which is probably the reason why it's not performing now. We're not going to be lumbered with Kerikeri's water problems. Ours have been taken care of years ago by far-sighted citizens. The current citizenship can look after their own affairs and are well capable of doing so. Keep local interests local and paid for locally. It is the best in the long term. And while we're on the subject of road maintenance, just down below on Thorpe Road, the roadside mowing stopped short of the apple tree. There is no reason for that. To be a tidy road, that mowing should be carried on to the corner. And because of the remiss actions of the contractor over past performances, I would like him to see written into his contract that he mows to the corner. It would make for a much tidier appearance on Thorpe Road. And just because I happen to live there isn't the real reason. It's a tidy town. I did have some photos of rubbish lying in gutters, particularly of weeds and grass growing in the soil accumulated in the gutters. That doesn't happen overnight. That is a lack of maintenance. It's not good enough. I would like an upgrade of performance on our street maintenance. For tidy towns mean tidy appearances and a welcoming aspect to those that wish to come and live here. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Kia ora, Mr. Riley. Thank you for your kōrero.
I'm back again.
Do any members have any questions for Mr. Riley?
I just wondered, Mr. Riley, have you put in RFS for these issues? And
I think I did a long time ago. Nothing happened, but I'm not quite sure that RFS system's working as it should do too.
We're trying to improve it.
I know
so I do encourage you to put in RFS and hopefully you'll get a better result.
Kia ora, Mr. Riley. Any other members got any questions for Mr. Riley? Thanks, Mr. Riley. I do tautoko Jess's suggestion of RFSing, Mr. Riley. It's something that's new to me and I'm trying to keep a track of RFSs, so feel free to send an email to me when you do RFS. My email address is on the FNDC website.
I'll come and see you because our emails are not.
Okay, yeah, come and see me. That would be great. Okay, our next public forum speaker is Carol Fife. Kia ora, Carol.
No, I'm just here as public, thank you.
You're just here. Thanks, Carol. Nice to see you. Matua Joe Carr. Would you like 5 minutes?
Oh, yes.
Great.
Yes. It's just a courtesy call as your NRC rep, and I'm here to listen to some of the issues. I'm quite impressed with your members' reports, and especially Harmony's report for the roading on the north side. Yeah, and I really need to say you've got to keep that pressure on regarding our roading and our sewage systems too. So I just wonder if people would like to ask me any questions. I chair the Regional Land Transport Committee, and I'm trying to get down to the bottom of why we've got such low level of service on many of our roads.
Yeah.
And because this council funds apparently quite adequately roading. It's close to 30 million a year for the maintenance contract. So I think that includes the subsidy as well, but that's quite a big vote. So yeah, go on, Mike.
Yeah, question.
Thanks, Joe.
The question of Joe. First, congratulations. I believe you're the chair of the Northern Transport Committee, which is great. I'm looking forward to good things. One of the issues that North Kaikohe-Hokianga faces, in fact, many of the rural areas, is that the roads seem to be neglected. And they're falling within a state of catastrophic collapse. And contrary to what's been printed in the paper, it's not climate change that caused the collapse in the Mangamokas, for example, and that is just seriously concerning a lot of people, especially in Mangamoka and in Kaikohe, where there's 20,000 people now affected. One company up to $1 million a year in extra distance. So really, if there's one thing, will you be, so I'll throw a question on there, will you be looking at pushing those priorities, because we can't afford to actually have our smaller rural communities suffering so badly, getting to school, transportation of logs and everything else, when basic maintenance doesn't seem to be done. And I'm happy to be corrected, so I'm hoping. So what's your stance on all of that?
Yeah, well, the seal network, the state highway network is falling to bits. The average reseals are over 10 years, and by that time it's like a house. If you don't paint it in good time, you can't get the adhesion for the next coat. So we've got some real expensive headwinds there. Regarding the Mangamoka Gorge, my personal view is that the problem has been significantly exacerbated because of neglect. When you've got these cracks in the ground indicating instability, these common practice geotechnic methods to actually drain those slips before they become catastrophic, and that hasn't happened. You've got the Mota T West Coast Road slip, which I think people may have seen it coming, but that happened on 18th of August, and the community is pretty concerned. I've had no response regarding that one, and it's having a significant economic effect. I'm aware that it's a 40-minute detour because of that, and I've actually asked the roading manager of the Northern Transportation Alliance to organise with the CEO of this council a meeting with the community out there, and nothing's happened. We're calling a workshop of the Regional Land Transport Committee next Tuesday, because we wouldn't have had a formal meeting till February, and we just don't want to sit through the whole construction season. We're not getting the staff support at that meeting, so we're just calling it anyway, and we're just going to start fronting up. So it's, if you get an idea from what I've said, that there seems to be communication blockages and with these matters, and I really want to work in with your CEO of this council, who's got a lot of experience in roading, and see what we can get cracking. Yeah, I won't express any opinions about the present hierarchy for road governance and administration, because I don't know, because I haven't got there, and I've got it in my file, in my bag of files to start reading. I only got it yesterday.
Thanks, Joe. So you can't give us any timeframes on either of those roads?
Yeah, all I can say with the Mangamoka one, we're going to push really hard for that, and I don't accept letting it take a year or so. The Mota T one, I really want to push that along too,
So are you aware of the RFS? Do you get notifications of RFSs around roading in the north?
I'm very aware of the RFS from Andrew Kendall, because I CC'd that one, but I don't get CC'd into your system, and because of Andrew's concerns, I'll actually come here today and say, look, you know, I'm not a on the post down there, I'm pretty awake to the issue.
We need a wake and we need some action though.
Yeah, so just very quickly, Joe, just thank you very much. I think this is the first time that a chair of the Regional Transport Committee has ever come and spoken to us in the community board, so thank you very much. But can you please send an email to the chair, Chicky, in terms of how the community board can assist you and what to your job there?
To your board chair, yes. Yeah, I'm really happy keeping the loop. Look, I made a statement during the election process that I'd forego RMA processes at NRC and actually be advocate for the improvement of the sewerage systems in the Hokianga, and that means in some processes I can't be partaken of NRC as soon as I've said that, but I've been hammering it pretty hard, and you guys have got to keep on the hammer up here. There's proposals for significant investment in community housing, totally dependent on the Kaikohe sewage system being functional. If it's not functional, you can't get that housing. You can't accept anymore, and so it needs real community pressure put on, and you know, basically absorb some money. So
Kia ora, Joe. Thank you for your time, and just echo Councillor Vucic's
any time you want to ring me,
yeah,
I'm happy to come along. Cheers.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our public forum. And now we have our the public that are here to speak to their funding application. So our first application that we have on the table is from the Cruising the Bays, Leanne Tasker and Ros Dennis. Kia ora kōrua.
Thank you for seeing us today.
You're welcome. So once again, you have a maximum of 5 minutes, and then we may or may not ask you questions following that. Kia ora kōrua.
Ros and I are part of Cruising the Bays Committee, who are organising a hot rod classic and muscle car and bike event in the Bay of Islands on Friday the 28th to the 30th of April 2023, very much like the Whangamata Beach Hop. This will be our inaugural event where we will cruise through our local communities over a 3-day period while participants enjoy the scenery, food, arts and craft and live entertainment. We will be based at the Waitangi Sports Ground. We have support from the local business associations and local businesses. Cruising the Bays have a website already created by a local company, and tickets are already on sale at Eventfinder as of the 10th of December. This year we will be supporting St John as our beneficiary for charity. Our intention is to bring an economic boost to our local businesses and community as a whole, while showcasing our beautiful Bay of Islands. As an organisation, we are not here focused on profit. Our commitment is to our communities. We are also part of the NSRA Club, National Street Rod Association, and with that, as members, we organise local car shows where we support the fire brigade and also the rescue helicopter as well.
Basically, I am local from Kaikohe. I have been asked for years to bring something to Kaikohe. I have got a business in Kaikohe. This is something that is actually going to boost Kaikohe. It will bring a lot of visitors to the town, and we're really looking forward to working with everyone in Kaikohe. We've had Anika on the Business Association. She's pushing me to push it further. And as hopefully next year, if it goes off, it will become bigger, which means there's going to be more people coming north. And that's basically what we want. We want more people coming up this way and enjoying our beautiful Bay of Islands. Any questions?
Did you put an application into the events funding?
Yes, we did, and we got half what we asked for.
Right, is that just recently or was that in June?
Yeah, just recently.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, through the chair, just to confirm, I think the funding that you received half of was from the Northland Inc. event fund.
Sorry.
Yeah, the events fund for councils will be considered on Friday, which you will have an application into.
Right, okay.
Thanks.
And sorry, can I just ask a question? Okay. How many Western applications are in that event funding?
Through the chair, I'm not actually too sure. Catherine is looking after that fund, but I can find out and we'll have an answer for you when the report is considered.
Thank you.
All right, we have other questions for Ros or Leanne? Okay, thank you, ladies. We'll have a discussion about your funding application later, and somebody will be in touch with you. Thank you. Our next funding application is from Leona and Jan. The toy box.
Yep. Well, kia ora whānau. My name is Leona Penworthy, and I'm the chairperson of Toolbox Hokianga. We've been going now for over 6 years. We basically, a group of us had access to an art gallery in Raoni 6 years ago on a much more commercial basis, and it became unsustainable and was bought by a couple from Auckland who wanted to carry on with the commercial lease of the property. So we came up with this idea of having a accessible and affordable space for the arts in the Hokianga. We spent a year fundraising for $18,000 for Toy Box, and it's pretty much a community run and owned art space where artists can access for a minimal amount of money the use of the container for a week, and they come along and sell their own work and speak to their own work. It's been a very successful model. We've been asked by other communities to, Jen and I were asked by the community in Coromandel to come down and talk about the model just recently, because they want to set up a similar one down there. I think our application is pretty straightforward in terms of what kind of support that we're looking for. We haven't very often been and asked for support, community support like this, but I think that we feel it's really important for the health and well-being of the community that spaces like this exist. And just the support that we have in the community shows that our last community exhibition, we had over 80 artists, which included adults, children, schools, participate, and it was a huge success. But we're just wanting a bit of support for this coming season, and if I was honest, it's partly because Jan and I are so involved volunteering in other community projects that and we're getting older, we kind of want other people to become involved in Toy Box because we don't want to lose it from our community. Sort of continues to offer lots. Do you want to say anything, Jen?
Oh, just that we have a person that's really capable of taking this on. She's younger, she'll come up with, she's already coming up with amazing new ideas, and yeah, I think it's just, we just want to support her, taking it further.
Kia ora. Do any members have any questions? No? Okay, thank you both for your time. We'll be in touch after we've had a cordial later. Thank you. Our next funding application is from the Bay of Islands Hockey Association, Susie and Chris. Kia ora kōrua.
Morning, My name is Susie Ross and this is Chris Foley. Hey Chris. So I've been running Lions Hockey now for a good 14 years. Chris is our vice chairman and our turf manager. He's the one that pushed me into putting in the first applications for lights. So we just basically want to give you a little bit of an update of where we're at and what we're worried about. Back in 2014, we were blessed with new hockey lights, which enabled us to run hockey during the evenings. We have been told by our electrician that it is becoming more difficult to get the current bulbs. They've gone from $350 when we first started purchasing them in, and to now $950 each. We've got the last 10 bulbs in the country this year, and when asking why this is becoming such a so problematic, we were told that everything has been changed from flood lighting to LED, and it's going to become more and more difficult and more expensive to continue our current system. We're not the only ones that are going to be in the same predicament. Sports clubs throughout New Zealand also will be. So just to attach on from our current letter, so you will notice that our first application was successful to the value of 100,000 from grassroots. We have also put in an application to Oxford Sports Trust that was successful to 10,000. We also put in an application to Four Winds that was successful for 25,000. Not quite as successful as we were hoping. With our input from out of our account, we have a total of 70,000 still to find by the 31st of March. So it's a little bit stressful at the moment because I know that if I don't find that money, we're going to have to return it. And I don't want to do that, being that it's taken quite a bit of effort so far to secure what we have. So that's basically where we're at. I thought we would present to basically answer any other further questions that you might possibly have.
Just to put the pricing of each of those metal halide bulbs into perspective, at, excuse me, at $950 each. For the year 2018, we had to replace 9 of them.
How many, Chris?
9. Yeah, there was another year, 20, what was it, 2021? No, sorry. Where we did that one?
Yeah. 7 in that year.
Yep, 7 in another year.
2, 4, 7. I've kept a detailed plan of basically what our costs have been over the years.
And some of that I think stems from the fact, I mean, if you look at how Susie has this planned out, if you want to see it, we can table it for you. Some of these bulbs have actually blown 3-4 times in the same head. So the system that is existing there at the moment is completely inadequate for what's going on in terms of the pricing of the bulbs. It's becoming unsustainable. And not only that, if you put in an LED system, it's 50% minimum energy savings. So, I mean, we're looking at, what does it cost us an hour for the lighting?
Well, currently at the moment, our power bill, varies in between 2,500 to 3,000 per year. So
we can cut that in half just by using LEDs. Yeah.
Okay, thank you both. Do you have any questions?
Can I just add that there will be some value left in the current system that is there. I've spoken with Dina Govey about how we're going to, give the Whānau District Council the ability that once they come down to be able to continue to use them. There are some, because we've replaced quite a lot of bulbs lately, those bulbs should last another 5 years. They're just, so we might be able to put them somewhere else throughout the community to use.
However, then there won't be any bulbs to.
No, but the exist, so because there are 40 bulbs, okay, we will be able to get some use. So if we have 3 or 4 bulbs go out the hockey too, okay, but it's not, yeah.
Thank you, Susie. Do any members have any questions? Jessie?
Kia ora. I just wondered how many primary or secondary school teams play here?
Primary school teams, I think there are around 16 this year. COVID has affected us. Our actual JMC hockey did come down in numbers, where last year our collegiate and our senior hockey grew, which was great. I think everybody was kind of a little bit sick of being locked up. As an association, we do our best to try and keep our fees down. During COVID, we dropped our fees down by $10 per player throughout all grades. Just to try and help keep participation up. We are going to need to look at increasing fees again, unfortunately, this year, because we've got some big bills to pay. But yeah, no, so basically, I mean, all sports have been affected and we're now back on the growth to, you know, building back membership again. We used to have our intermediate kids play on a Tuesday night, but it was just turning out to be too expensive for them, so we brought them back into a Saturday to keep that hockey fee down. So we used to run the lights 3 nights a week with intermediate, collegiate and open grade. But so they want it back, but it was just too expensive, so hopefully we're getting newer, cheaper lights. We might be able to look at taking intermediate hockey back to a Tuesday.
I'm just wondering how many senior, or how many school age kids at 16 primary age
What's
teams?
the numbers?
Susan, I haven't got it on hand, but what I can tell you is that before COVID hit, we had 320.
Teams or?
No, 320 participants.
Adults and?
Yeah, all through. But we were down about 50 last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Any more questions?
I have a statement. Just Northland obviously raises outstanding hockey players. You know, they go on to the hockey stacks and things like that. So, and it's awesome having a facility such as yours and here in Kaikohe.
We're very blessed. It's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just a question from me around the outlying areas, and you know, are there participants from outlying areas, not just Kaikohe, and also are there any other sporting codes that use that facility?
Thank you for bringing that up, Chicky, because a part of this actually is to provide lights on the other side of the building to enable clubs like football and league to come and train at night. So I think it was around about 30,000 of this project is to provide more lighting. We do have other users like touch and softball who use the turf, as you know. However, that's in summer and don't require lighting. But we're hoping that, you know, with this new system, it's going to make it more available for more people to use.
And participants
we did
from
have
outside the area?
Teams from Kaikohe and also from Kaitaia. So there was people travelling.
Yeah.
I mean, Mangamoka made that quite a problem this year, obviously, but before that, yeah, we did have some travelling quite a long way just because we've got the lights.
For 5 years, Kaitaia came up to play in our collegiate competition. They didn't last year due to money and...
So previously, before the lights, what did Kaikohe hockey players and participants do?
So it was all on Saturday.
All on Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay. And now it enables us to spread it out through the week and get more use
and it's,
over the week.
And basically once we got the lights, our numbers went up, you know, so.
Okay, thank you both for your time.
Thank
you.
Okay, and we have waiting online our last funding applicants from the Waimamaki Community Garden. Welcome to Courtney Davis and Liam Kiley. Oh, kia ora, Liam.
Coming through soon. Tēnā koutou katoa, Colleen Cocker. Thank you for having us. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. We're just going to close the door, Liam. talk to us, and we may or may not have some questions after that time. You don't have to use the maximum 5 minutes if you don't wish to. Thank you for your application. The time's yours.
So I'm the chair for the Waimaku Community Garden, and I'm here to speak on behalf of our application for support for our irrigation system that we wish to set up, as well as maintenance costs for garden maintenance in terms of lawn mowing, as well as additional support for our series of gardening workshops. So the audio is a little bit bad. So the Waimaku Community Garden has been around for about 5 years now. 2 years in our current space at the bottom of Taita Road. You may or may not know, but Waimaku is a very underserviced area. And we've basically set up the community garden as a space for people to share skills around gardening and horticulture to reduce living costs for whānau within our area. So we hold a series of workshops looking at sharing skills around food production, and we also distribute food throughout the community through our Pātaka, and also to Okanoni o Mapi area school, and through a local marae, and directly out to Kuia and Kaumātua within our area. So it's been a really fantastic journey so far. We have a fantastic team of volunteers, multiple working bees throughout the week, and it's a fantastic space for people to meet and join and share knowledge around food production, with a vision to enable people to thrive and reduce living costs in a materially deprived area with high unemployment. So we're specifically seeking funding for irrigation system. Currently, we spend a lot of our volunteer hours keeping our plants watered, so we can have good production. And this would enable us to refocus those volunteer hours onto production, getting more plants into the ground, holding workshops, rather than going out and watering for multiple hours every day throughout the week. We're also seeking funding for a series of workshops, again, just around sharing knowledge of food production on a variety of topics. So our garden coordinator will be putting those together with local experts from around the Hokianga area. And that's all around kind of sharing knowledge and providing people with skills to grow food at home, and to enable the whānau to thrive. So I've tabled, and I'm sure you will have been provided with a copy of our application as well as our budgets. And it would just be great to have the support of the Hokianga Kaikohe Community Board to enable us to continue our work of providing food to our community. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Kia ora, thank you, Liam. Do any members have any questions for Liam? I really enjoyed looking at the pictures you provided in your application, Liam. It looks like you guys have done some awesome work.
Thank you very much. I think, they do tell a fantastic story of our journey so far, and just how much support within our community that we have.
Cool. Ka pai, Liam, we'll have a kōrero about your application, and someone will be in touch with you in due course around your application.
Thank you very much for your time. Have a lovely day.
Thanks, Liam. Kia ora. Okay. So, what do we want to do now, everybody? That was a good amount of time, a nice hour spent listening to people talk to us. Do we have any deputations? No deputations. So 6.1 on our agenda, move to that on page 8, and that's the confirmation of the previous minutes. Do I have a mover?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, John. We have a mover and a seconder for that, for the confirmation of previous minutes.
Page 10. Page 10.
we have a mover and seconder for the recommendation that the Kaikohe Community Board confirms the minutes of their meeting held 16th November 2022 as a true and correct record. All those in favour? Aye. Those against? Any abstentions? No. Carried. We move on to reports on page 15, and the first report is the chairperson and members report. So the recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board notes the reports from chairperson Chiki Rudkin and member Trinity Edwards, and the reports from deputy chairperson Tanya Felia, member Jessie McVeigh, and member Harmony Gundry. Do I have a mover for that recommendation?
Yes.
Thank you, Mike. And a seconder?
Yeah.
Thank you, member Gundry. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. Any discussion about those reports?
Good reports.
Reports. Thank you, Councillor Usage. So these are the first reports that all of us have written, and we chose to get together to do that. And so Trinity and I did a collaborative community report, and the other members completed their own reports. So thanks to everybody for their time, and if that works for us, we might do that again for our next report. And yeah. Kaikohe, where are we moving to now? Gosh. So moving through the agenda to page 31, 7.2 on page 31 is the setting of 2023 meeting schedule.
Page 33. We're 2 pages behind.
Page 31?
Okay, so we have a mover for that recommendation. Thank you, Councillor Vusic. And a seconder, Tanya Felia. Thank you. All those in favour? Aye. Right. Any against? Any discussion? Any discussion?
So definitely the Wednesday.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Okay, thank you, everybody. Carried. 7.3 on page 37, project funding reports, 2022.
The project, I'm happy to move to taking the project reports.
The project report received from Pioneer Village. Thank you, Councillor Vusic. Do I have a seconder? All right, thank you, Mike. Any discussion? No. All those in favour, please say aye. Any against? Any abstentions? Okay, carried. Thank you, everybody. Where are we now? Funding applications. Funding applications, page 42. So we'll work through each recommendation as they are printed. So the first recommendation is for the National Street Road Association Northland to be approved the sum of $3,227.
I'll move that.
Thank you, Mike. Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Vusic. Is there any discussion about that funding application?
I have discussion.
Thank you.
To the chair. As we're in a climate crisis and we need to drastically reduce emissions from burning fossil fuels, and as leaders of the community through our community board and through our council, I do not agree with giving money to essentially, despite the fact that hot rods and old cars and muscle cars are really entertaining and interesting. I don't believe that we should be giving money for what is essentially burning fossil fuels for entertainment. I understand that they give money to charity. I belong to emergency services. There are other ways to get money. I'm absolutely against giving money for this particular event. I move that we give no funding to this event.
Okay, we have a recommendation on the table.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to this. Look, this is not about burning fossil fuels. The magnet around what's happening is about cars. But this association is something more than cars. It's the showing off of the automotive industry. The amount of, this is not a race. Okay, this is not drag racing. This is not street racing. This is merely showing the assets of these people once a year jaunt around the bays, and it bringing the community together. Now, the funding that is being given here goes straight back to the community in the tiny village. So if we simply refuse to do this, then it's money that doesn't go to that particular use in the community. So yeah, I'm not going to the climate change stuff, but in this particular case, this is more about the spectacle than it is about. And to be fair, the historical spectacle, the entire globe was built upon machinery and fossil fuels, and we can't do that. So I'm all for this.
Thank you.
Yeah, and in favour, it is about, having an event so that people's arrive on the trailer, they're actually not driven, I've seen in some cases, but in terms of fuel burn usage is quite low by comparison to, those that are driving their cars to work and back again. So I support it because of the impact and the positive nature to the community, crowd environment.
Any other members?
Can I respond to that?
Discussion?
Point of order, no. The only person who gets two speaks is the mover of the motion.
Yes. Thank you. And who was the mover?
The mover was Member Edmonds, seconded by Member Vusic.
Okay.
Through the chair, the member has the ability to call for an amendment or abstain from the final vote.
Can we put that recommendation to vote now?
Okay, Madam Chair.
Okay. All those in favour of the recommendation?
Aye.
Please raise your hands. Okay, those against?
Two against.
Two against.
Would you like that recorded?
Yes, please. Thank you. Okay, that's been carried. Our second recommendation, do I have a mover for that, please, for the Waimanaki Community Garden Group?
I move that.
Thank you. Thank you. Second.
Since they moved together, I'll speak in favour of that. If you look at some of the crises that we're actually facing through climate change policies, I might add, not the actual effect, we have food crisis throughout Europe and various other places, and to see local people putting in gardens, I think is a positive, and to see those pictures which speak a lot. There's a big community there that work together to try and do those things. I do wonder though, given the size of the garden, that I presume that they can sell those vegetables, or each one of the members can contribute towards it, and therefore, so that the costs can be met. And I'd like to see it sustainable. But I'm happy to, no, this is recorded, and I think what I'm saying, but I do support it and look forward to other communities starting up and going here. They've been going for 5 years, they're good on them. I'm happy to support it.
Yeah, I totally agree with your words, Councillor Vusic. Any other cordial from members? I'll put that motion to the floor. Oh, sorry.
I'd just like to add that with the impending climate change that is already happening, that it will be harder to grow food and that people will be needing to access food. So I absolutely support this project.
Thank you. Okay. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Any abstentions? Carried. The next recommendation for $750 to Te Hua Te Wheke Community Arts Gallery. Do I have a mover?
Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Vusic, and a seconder. Thank you, Jesse. Any discussion about that?
They do great work in there. You go and see them. They don't actually ask for much. They put a lot more. I see that they're putting a lot more effort into it than those costs would indicate.
Yes. Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favour? Against? Any abstentions? Carried. Recommendation D for $3,600 to the Hokianga Arts Community Trust. Do I have a mover?
Yeah.
Thank you. Member Gundry, seconder. Thank you, Member McVeigh. Do we have any discussion about the Hokianga Arts Community Trust funding?
Just like to add that absolutely these arts projects, and particularly community-based arts projects, really create healthy, vibrant and sustainable communities.
Any further comment? I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Any abstentions? Thank you, carried. Recommendation E, the sum of
Can I vote? Can I move motion? I've got to move this motion.
You can move this motion.
Okay, so I'd like to move the sum and with reference back to the system with Chicky, I'd like to approve the sum of blank who paid to the board place taking account of the Bay Island Hockey Association without to LED lights at Inland Park. Now the reason, of course, is I'll get a second during the complaint reason later on.
Thank you, Councillor Visich, seconded.
Okay, so just Chicky, it's just a matter of, I mean, I know we're going to be disagreeing on this money, so it's rather than go back and forth with the amendments, we have a discussion about the merits and demerits of this application and then negotiate on the money separate. So I think it's a great project, and especially if they have any trouble with those lights. I don't know what it is. It's certainly not bulbs. We've got lights on the rugby field that just go and go and go, and they should last 2,000 hours. It should last 5,000 hours. 2,000 hours for the year. So I don't know what's happening here, but they can't afford to carry on.
Any further discussion from members? I'd just like to add that the lead light regime has happened throughout schools over the last few years, and we had a whole truckload of little people come to Kaikohe school some time ago, and they took out every single light in our school and changed the lighting system so that we had LED lights because of the availability of the tube lights that we had initially, and they are significantly more expensive than the lights that they took away. I'd also just like to mention the Bay of Islands Hockey Association's historic membership and ability to provide programs for children and adults north and wide. So I support the application very much so.
Yeah, I think I'll speak after.
Oh, sorry, Member McVeigh.
I have caution around it, not because of the validity and the wonderful things that the group do, but simply because it's a significant amount of money potentially that we're talking out of our placemaking fund. And as a new community board, we haven't yet had a chance to discuss our priorities, our strategic priorities, and I would like to have that discussion before we start apportioning out our limited funds. So it's not that we would be denying this group necessarily because they have until March. I understand you like to have your ducks in a row before that, but that I would really want to have a serious discussion about our priorities as a group and plan what those are effectively before we start giving out money. It doesn't discount them, it just lets us put our priorities in place before we divvy out.
My comments are, one is I think what hockey are doing a great, the Bay Island Hockey Association, and having the lights I think is absolutely crucial as well, so that's great. It's also great. But we struggle with there's a little bit of lack of information because to have bulbs blowing that regularly, I think it seems a bit odd, and I don't know what's actually happening there, whether they're getting used a lot or overheating or what. So I wouldn't mind more information on that regard. And also, I do not know if you can get, like you, Chair, you mentioned that you had all your lights for conventional. You can use some lights replacement. actually have a bit of understanding of what we can actually do. I would like to give them some money. 20k is a bit high for the reason that Jesse has actually given. So that makes me sort of struggle a bit at that figure, given our priorities that we mentioned. And we don't have that much money, and some is already committed. So yeah, certainly open to talk about a figure in there. I'll probably will just change something like that. But I don't know, it depends on everybody else, and that's the reason why I believe member Mike here said put in there, so we can then talk about what is acceptable.
So would anyone like to?
I'm going to say 10,000. My number is 10,000.
Yes.
Yeah, mine would be 10 as well.
Mine would be that. I got 10.
Well, there's your majority right there.
So do we need to move that?
You just put 10 in there and be.
Okay. Right, so we approved $10,000. Do we need another? We've just done.
You need vote on all.
Okay. So, all those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? And any abstentions? Carried. Thank you.
Through the chair, just to confirm for the events meeting on Friday, there's been 2 applications received from the Western area, and you've both considered them here today, so.
Oh, so.
Yes.
So were they after the same amount of money, or were they after different amounts of money?
Different parts of the money.
Parts of it? Okay, so if they get both, it's valid.
So that's, yeah.
Oh,
Awesome, thank you, Kim. Okay.
Oh, sorry, one more question for Kim. In the first section, in the July part, how much money was given to events in the West?
I am unsure, but I can find out that information.
Okay, and also for the previous 2 years. I mean, I know the answers, I just thought I'd get them from you, would be more.
Catherine has run that funding rounds, or those funding rounds, but I will definitely find out the answer and share it with everybody.
Okay.
Thank you, Kim. Okay, we're on page 87, 8.1, Community Hokianga, Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board Action Sheet. And we have a recommendation that we receive the report, Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board Action Sheet. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Member Edmonds, and a seconder. Thank you, Member Gundry. Any discussion about that?
I just have a question. So it talks about the funding deliverables. Have we got that?
So we're waiting for feedback from the Pioneer Village Board. We can't progress any further with that. That's what we're waiting on.
So we're allocating money, but we haven't discussed the deliverables?
We have a draft deliverables document that has been provided to them, and that's what we're waiting their feedback on.
So is this suggesting we give them $20,000?
No, it's previous community board. It's just an outstanding loan for your previous community board. That's all it is. So the only decision here is to know what's outstanding. That's all. There's no other decision.
It's just an update, an ongoing update. So when a resolution is made and it goes onto the action sheet, we provide updates until that matter is completed. Okay. That's what that is. Yeah.
All right. Yep. So no further discussion. All those in favour? Aye. Anyone against? Any abstention? Okay. Thank you. Where are we? Oh. Okay, koe te karakia whakamutunga, Member Gundry.
Whakamauti kei hoa ngā mano matua ta mawairo ta koe ngā nehira pono mātima o ai tautoko mai anea nei ai.
Good everybody.
So because we've finished a little bit